Shireen Muppidi, and I'm running for Dublin City Council. I grew up in the Tri-Valley. My family moved here in the early 2000s, and I just have really fond memories of just small things. For example, movie premieres at the cinema, soccer practice at the parks, and hours just spending time in the library. And so I'm really proud to call Dublin my home. One challenge was people tend to discount me because they see how young I am. They say I'm running for office so I can empower the next generation. And I'm like, I am the next generation. I'm running because I want to shape the future for us. Prior to running for office, I actually do hold policy and economic development experience. So I worked at the US Department of State on human rights policy. I worked on economic issues at the Federal Reserve and the World Bank. And now I currently work in venture capital and want to really use those experiences to help Dublin grow, especially around economic development and growth, particularly as COVID-19 has really hurt a lot of businesses and families. I bring a really unique perspective. Having grown up here, spent about 20 plus years sort of seeing the region totally change. And on top of that, I'm a completely clean money candidate. I'm supported only by individual donors because I'm frustrated by the impact of money in politics. Unemployment has skyrocketed in the last couple of months. I was nervous about potentially losing my job just because of the ramifications of the economy, and friends were losing their jobs. I think what's really important is being able to make Dublin a business-friendly environment, ensuring that these local businesses that may have been forced to shut business up help them adapt to COVID-19, especially since this is something that will foreseeably continue for a few more months or even through next year. So some of the ideas I have is being able to help them with different workshops, for example, around entrepreneurship or digital marketing, so they can transition it into a digital world. And then beyond COVID-19, I think there is a lot that Dublin can do beyond some of these initial things. So for example, I want to attract more corporate partners so we can establish satellite offices here. And so a lot of Dublin residents don't need to be commuting out of Dublin to go to work. This will reduce commutes for residents, provide local jobs, and then also provide a steady revenue stream for the city. And I think on top of that, because I think economic development is something you need to think constantly about, I want to establish a commission specifically dedicated to this so we can have community input around economic development as well. Dublin is a really small town, so we've seen really quick and fast growth, growing nearly 40% in the past decade. And I think that because we've been growing so quickly, we haven't been able to keep up with our population in terms of the schools available, the roads, managing traffic, making sure that our commercial centers are vibrant to support that population. And so I think the first priority is reinvesting into our community in those areas that we've been seeing a lot of challenges around. And as someone who grew up in this town, I cannot afford to live here. And so we need to have more housing at different price points. What is really important to me is thinking long-term about climate change. I think wildfires is the initial kick to kind of get people thinking and talking about climate change, because it really, there was a weekend where we literally were packing our to-go bags in case we had to evacuate. I would like to have Dublin really focus on transitioning into a low-carbon economy, ensuring that new buildings and new developments are electrified, building out the infrastructure for EVs and instituting more bike lanes so we're not relying so much on cars. We want everyday people to be in office because it represents the perspectives of people like me. And as for Dublin, for example, we are 40% Asian. It's a really young, growing town. There's a lot of young folks here. I think there's excitement in seeing someone new in office. And I would encourage a lot of people who are listening or just thinking about politics in the future, there's so many ways you can get involved. So I would encourage you to look at boards and commissions in your city, your county, or even the state, and look for nonprofits that might be interesting to get out the vote, donate, and things like that. And the mistakes that we're doing now are completely going to impact how I live, how my friends, how my sibling lives. I think that we need to have young people who are going to hold the future accountable.